United have been grappling with a void at the base of our midfield. The number 6, the defensive midfield role, has lacked a long-term and actually even a short-term solution. Recent performances seem to expose a bit of a broken link in United's engine room. The gaps between defence and midfield are too much. The gaps between midfield and attack a little bit too much. Amorim's 3-4-3 demands a robust defensive midfielder, and none of the current personnel have made a convincing argument to make the role their own. Bruno Fernandes, Kobe Mainoo seem to prefer more advanced or different midfield roles, leaving Casemiro or Manuel Ugarte to be one of the people selected to fulfill that kind of role. And Casemiro doesn't appear to have the legs anymore, and Ugarte's not really shown that he can fill that in every single aspect. In his duels, he's done quite well, but can he progress the ball enough from that area? In short, United are absolutely desperate for a reliable number 6 to anchor that midfield play, shield the defence, and begin to initiate attacks. Against that, there has been a surprising candidate that I think could have the versatility to play in that role. Mazraoui. Now, since he's come to United, you've seen him play fullback, wing-back, wide centre-half, briefly in the number 10 position. I wouldn't necessarily advocate for that, however, but he has been one of United's most consistent performers since he signed. And he's been shuffled around left side, right side, a little bit further forward, a little bit further back. And I think the question arises, can he play as a defensive midfielder? And would he be an ideal fit for that role? I'm going to look at why this idea isn't maybe as far-fetched as it sounds on the surface of things. I'm going to look at his attributes, his experience, and the data to see if he could actually fulfill that role for the club. Now, I would say one of Mazraoui's standout qualities is his exceptional versatility. Since Amorim has arrived, we have seen him right side centre-half, left side centre-half, left wing-back, right wing-back, all within the 3-4-3 formation. And despite those constant role changes, he has performed every single job with remarkable consistency. And whilst I wouldn't say he's had a 10 out of 10 game, he rarely drops in a bad game. He's pretty consistent, he's pretty hardworking, he's pretty technically sound, and he seems to get involved in a hell of a lot of duels, no matter where he is on the pitch. He seems to have been considered amongst that leadership group, and I think his ability to adapt is a massive, strong foundation for considering why he might be a fit for that defensive midfield role. A role that demands versatility, that demands a blend of defensive acumen, positional sense, and technical skill. Now, what's interesting is Mazraoui is actually no stranger to midfield play. During his youth and his early career in the Ajax team, he spent a significant amount of time as a central midfielder. He even noted himself when he was in the Ajax reserve team that he played one season in every single position, from left wing to central defender. He says, wherever I come onto the pitch, I feel comfortable. That's a pretty extensive education in various positions, and probably why you see such versatility out of him as a player now. That, I think, has made him an intelligent footballer. And it's why he seems so comfortable slotting into new roles. Even within a game, you can change his role and he just adapts straight away. The data from his Ajax days support this. He shows that he played 60 matches, either as a number 6 or as a number 8 in his youth career. That is a solid foundation for someone to go and translate that into a first-choice defensive midfield role. And as I said earlier, even since he's been at Manchester United, we know that Erik ten Hag deployed him as a number 10 in what was a bit of a bold idea in a Europa League game. Now, that experiment was short-lived and probably not successful because he did play a full 90 minutes and he created no chances. Maybe that's highlighting the difficulty of that specific role, but the fact that Ten Hag trusted him to play in that position, I think, speaks volumes. It underlines that the coaching staff have got the belief that he has the tactical and technical understanding and quality to operate in a central area. After the match, Onana even came out and said wasn't surprised by his deployment further forward because he used to play there when he was younger, and praised how Mazraoui stepped up and did a good job in unusual circumstances. Now, even opposition managers have acknowledged Mazraoui's midfield potential. After he faced United, Jose Mourinho, when he was Fenerbahce coach, revealed that he was not caught off guard by Ten Hag's decision, saying that Amrabat told him that Mazraoui can play in that position. He did it a lot with Ten Hag when he was all the way back at Ajax. He's got the qualities. He's not Bruno, but he has the legs to press. Now, that's a line that I think is quite important. In other words, those who recognise his ability, those who train with him, think that he's got the attributes of a midfielder. The tactical versatility, the pressing energy, and the experience playing in a central role, even if he's primarily being used as a defender at a senior level. Now, if United are going to consider using Mazraoui as a defensive midfielder, I think a major argument in his favour is his technical ability. In the modern game, the number 6 has to be comfortable on the ball. They have to be comfortable under pressure. They have to be able to recycle possession. They have to be able to pick a pass through the lines and even carry the ball forward. All of those are areas where Mazraoui excels. He's got press resistance and ball security. He is incredibly press resistant. The ball is secure when he is on it, even when opponents close him down. He is comfortable receiving in tight spaces. He's able to use quick touches and turns to evade pressure. In fact, his rate of being dispossessed is extremely low. He loses the ball by being tackled just 0.08 times per 90 minutes. That's an outrageous stat. A real indicator that he just does not give the ball away cheaply. His first touch and his control are generally reliable, although his miscontrol rate is a little bit higher than some of his peers. That might be because of the position specifics that he's been playing in. But he's adept with both feet. That makes him very difficult to predict which side he's going to turn to. And that helps him evade pressure and retain possession. Probably even more so in the centre of a pitch than it does if you try to press him when he's up against the touchline. He's got the passing range and accuracy. Now, obviously, he comes from the Ajax school of football. He's been schooled in quick passing and positional play. That's something that you're just going to know. His passing record's fantastic. In European competition, he averaged 57.7 passes completed per 90 with an 89.6% completion rate. That's fine. That puts him in the elite amongst fullbacks. That puts him in the elite amongst central midfielders as well. It's actually in the 99th percentile when it comes to fullbacks. It shows how rarely he misplaces a pass. And many of them are short to medium passes in build-up, which is what you want out of a number 6. But when it comes to his progressive passes, this is what excites me. 5.96 progressive passes per 90. That's forward passes that move the ball significantly up the field. That ranks him in the top 15% of players in his position. He can play, he's got the vision, and he can move the ball into the final third. He averages almost 5 forward passes into the attacking third each match. That's in the 88th percentile. He's clearly not going to be a playmaker like the one that we saw in, say, Christian Eriksen, but those numbers suggest that he could make a competent contribution and distribute the ball from deep, which is a key responsibility for a defensive midfielder. And I would go as far as to say there's nobody in the Manchester United squad that has got that ability to control tempo with passing like that. Now, another feather in Mazraoui's cap is his ability to carry the ball forward through the middle or through the wide areas. Now, of course, as a fullback or a wing-back, you're obviously going to carry the ball forward in wide areas. But actually, he drifts and underlaps to advance play. His data suggests that he is hitting 1.78 progressive carries per 90. That puts him in the 95th percentile for progressive carries amongst fullbacks. That shows that he's extremely confident carrying the ball, and he's got a knack for breaking the lines through carries. So we are seeing someone that's able to move the ball forward. He attempts about 1.7 take-ons per 90. That puts him in the 97th percentile, and successfully completes 0.6 of them, which is the 89th percentile. That shows not only will he try and beat a man but the dribble, but he often succeeds to quite a decent rate as well. You put him in defensive midfield and he's got the ability to turn out of pressure and play the ball, or he's got the ability to drive out of pressure and stride past an opponent into space. It's probably easier in the centre of a park than it is on the wing as well. I think he's just absolutely comfortable operating in that area. I think he would be a real asset in a defensive midfield role. He has got the technical toolkit, the secure passing, the composure under pressure, the forward driving carries, and the range in his passing. To me, that's all the boxes of a modern deep line midfielder ticked. I think he brings a level of press resistance and ball progression from the number 6 that Manchester United do not have out of the 4 midfielders that we are choosing to play in that area. Now, the primary job of a defensive midfielder is, of course, defensive. Break up the opposition plays, shield the back line, win your duels. Now, that is an area that he shines. He's got a reputation of being a duel-winning monster. Played at fullback and wingback. He seems to get double figures, 12, 13, 14 duels, and wins the vast majority of those. He is an aggressive and effective tackler. He averages about 3.4 tackles per 90, which is exceptionally high, puts him in the 96th percentile. That means he tackles more frequently than virtually any other fullback in any of the top competitions and any other leagues. Those instincts would serve him very well in a defensive midfield role where tackles are going to be plentiful for him. And it isn't just tackling in safe areas as well. He's got 0.62 tackles in the attacking third per 90 as well, which tells you that he presses. He's in the 99th percentile for that. He's clearly got a good sense of timing, clearly knows how and when to win the ball back near the opponent's area. And even if United are still doing this high pressing style, I think Mazraoui can do that. I think that the data tells you that he can do that. In the middle third, he registers 1.16 tackles per 90, which is the 89th percentile, which shows his work rate all the way across the pitch. It isn't just quantity either, because the success rate in those is high. He's in the top 93rd percentile for how successful he is with those tackles in the middle third. And beyond the tackles, his dual success is absolutely remarkable. If we go back to late 2025, Mazraoui had won 123 ground duels in the Premier League, which was more than every single other United player. His win rate in ground duels was 62.5%, which is the highest success rate in the entire Premier League at that stage. That is a telling statistic. I'm going to say it again because I don't think you was paying attention. His win rate in ground duels at 62.5% was the highest success rate in the entire Premier League up to March 2025. He is an elite ball winner. Now, you add that to his proficiency on the ball, and the prowess that he has in 1v1 situations means that he's not getting dribbled past, he's not getting overpowered on the ground, he's stopping 72% of dribblers that try and make it past him. He's just... You tell me what more he needs to add to his game. And I can go on. 1.08 blocks per 90th percentile. You combine his blocks... you combine his tackles and his interceptions, 4.5 per 90. That's in the top 10%. Again, he is effective when it comes to regaining possession. A real glimpse of the defensive impact can be seen in United's Europa League against Bodo Glimt in November. He played as a right-side centre-half in the back three, and he was immense. He won 6 out of 7 duels. He made 5 tackles and 4 clearances. Those efforts helped United get the win. He was singled out for the praise after the game by Amorim, and he said his versatility and his impact were top. He is a player of our future. He's played in different positions. He always looks fresh, the kind of player that we need. I wonder if he's thought about putting him in the 6. So those numbers, got a little bit stat heavy there, I understand that. But those numbers make it clear. He has got the defensive tenacity and the intelligence required to be a defensive midfielder. He is essentially already doing many aspects of a defensive midfielder job when he plays as a wing-back or as an auxiliary centre-half. He closes down opponents. He times his tackles well. He dominates in his duels. And he wouldn't be the first defender to step into midfield. You've seen the likes of Philip Lahm and Kimmich step into that defensive midfield role after being a fullback, notably after being a Bayern Munich fullback, it might be said as well. They've got the technical qualities and game-reading attributes. Mazraoui shares those. Even at Manchester City, you've seen John Stones play as like this hybrid centre-half defensive midfield role. There's precedent already for people moving forward into that role. And I think Mazraoui has got the intelligence to be able to do that. Now, this isn't a PR campaign for Mazraoui. I think there's a hell of a lot of reasons to be excited about it, and enough that I would say, can we give it a go? But there are potential drawbacks and challenges with this. You've got to temper your expectations with a bit of caution. You transition to a new role in the Premier League, it's going to be with some risk. And there are some specific challenges that I think Mazraoui would need to overcome. He's got a lack of senior experience as a DM. Yep. It's all right playing youth football in midfield, but translating that to Premier League in Manchester United is a totally different story. Trent used to play in the 8 in the youth teams. Doesn't mean that he could play in the 8 right now. He hasn't been tested as a lone defensive midfielder in a top-level match situation for a long, long time. That defensive midfield role comes with some serious different positioning requirements. Holding shape in front of the centre-halves, sensing danger from all the different angles, being the outlet for every single clearance, being the outlet when you're building out. There would be a massive learning curve, and it's going to be an unforgiving environment, not just the Premier League, but the situation around Manchester United right now. Any mistakes or positional naivety would be punished extremely quickly, and I certainly wouldn't be trying it in the Manchester derby. Not unless you've been working on it for a month beforehand, I would say. He would need time, probably a little bit of coaching and adaptation to make sure he understands and gets all the nuances playing in this team, in this league, in that position. It's not a given that the skill set and the data would translate to him being able to just fulfill that position. And then you've got the physicality and the aerial duels. The Premier League is known for its physicality, and defensive midfielder generally, usually, has to impose themselves physically in a game, but not just in the ground duels. And this is one where Mazraoui is not actually a proven force. He's 6 feet tall, which is a decent height, but he only wins roughly 1.7 aerial duels per 90, which actually puts him in the 38th percentile for defenders. That's pretty rough. Now, his win rate's not bad. 65%. It's respectable, but it's not outstanding. You compare it to someone like Casemiro, who's known for contesting and winning those aerial balls, especially from goal kicks and set plays where United are actually pretty weak. And if Mazraoui was our number 6 and he was going up against the likes of Rodri, Souček, Palhinha, he's going to struggle because they're going to dominate him in the air. He's also going to have to deal with any long balls that are directed at opposition strikers that drop into his zone. That would be an area that I would be worried about. He might get out-jumped, he might get bypassed. And in Amorim's system, the number 6 would be absolutely expected to contribute aggressively to both tackling and aerial duels. A defensive midfielder often has to chip in with a fair bit of that. Then you've got the adjustment period and the tactical awareness. A top defensive midfielder not only has to destroy, but they have to orchestrate play as well. And that means constantly scanning the field, positioning themselves to just intercept, to direct teammates about. And I think Mazraoui's reading of the game in defence as a fullback has been very good. But central midfield is a whole different panorama. The game comes at you from 360 degrees. You don't get to stand on the periphery of it and be an observer that gets to direct while it's happening a little bit detached. You're right in the thick of it. You know, can you go up against the likes of Declan Rice and come out on top in those sorts of situations? Because that's what you're going to be expected to do. We also must consider that Mazraoui has been fucking excellent, to be honest with you, as the wide centre-half. Amorim even labelled him incredible when he played him in the back three role, suggesting that actually when he gets back to fitness, maybe he sees that position being where he ends up playing full time. If you move him into midfield, are we going to weaken our defence? Are we going to take him out of a role where he's performed to a high level and put him into a role where he might not perform at all? I don't think he's going for that central centre-back role where De Ligt has got it on lock. I don't think he's getting the right side centre-half role where Lenny Yoro has looked incredible. But while Martinez is still out, we need a reliable left side centre-half. Mazraoui's probably that guy, right? And then you have to look at the comparable profiles and the flaws. The role of being the 6 in Amorim's team has been handled or attempted to be handled by specialists like Ugarte and Casemiro. Players whose natural games involve tackling, interceptions, and aerial coverage. And those players, for the limitations that they might have elsewhere, match up with the DM profile probably a little bit better. Mazraoui would be a real unconventional choice. Probably better on the ball than either of those two, but less stout in pure defensive metrics, and certainly less in the air. If United were to try and prioritise maybe a little bit of distribution and mobility, then maybe Mazraoui would be the shout. Considering all the above, can Mazraoui play in the 6 for United? I think the evidence says yes. I think he absolutely has the tools to be moulded into that role. I think the versatility that he's got, his past education, those 60 games he's played as a midfielder already provide strong foundation. He's technically secure, arguably even gifted, and comfortable under pressure. That would bring some much needed press resistance. He would bring a level of passing quality to the base of midfield that we've not really had. Defensively, he is an absolute juggernaut in the ground duels and the tackles, which indicates he could absolutely do the ball-winning duties of a number 6. In many ways, Mazraoui fits the profile of a modern DM who not only breaks up play but also initiates possession from deep. Introducing him into midfield could solve a massive issue for United this season and provide a real link from defence to attack that we've been missing. Someone with a more natural defensive mindedness, because I think he's kind of wasted when we play him as a wing-back in this role. With Mazraoui at the 6, United could have a midfielder that can win the ball and immediately carry it forward or find progressive passes and really start to speed up those transitions. The data and his performances back up the idea that he could thrive there, leading the team in ground duels won, the highest success rate in the league. He certainly doesn't shy away from the combative side of it. 96 percentile passing and tackling shots show he is a bit of a dual threat when it comes to defensive and possession skills. Whether or not he's the ideal fit hinges on how the team compensates for the aspects where he's less of a natural fit. Can we cover up his deficiencies while maximising what he's good at? If United can scaffold that and make his transition a little bit easier, maybe give him minutes in midfield towards the end of games, maybe play him in a bit more of a secure double pivot alongside maybe a Ugarte, maybe against Manchester City at the Etihad is the opportunity to do that, where you want 2 more defensive-minded midfielders. Maybe he could grow into the role. His own attitude certainly seems to inspire confidence. When asked about this jack-of-all-trades background, he says, "Wherever I play, I just know what to do because I've played in every position." I like that. And that mentality with the skill set that he's got suggests that he could adapt and learn to the nuances of defensive midfielder. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Is it a gamble worth taking? Is it one that could pay off? Is it something that actually would be very transformative for United as we move through this season? Be interested to know your thoughts. And yes, I will be doing a comparison video of this one, or a companion video of this one, where we look at whether or not Lisandro Martinez could be an option in the 6. See you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.